Life is about perception, and perception is not reality. The way we perceive the world is the way we live. So if we think that things are bad, things are gonna be bad. But there is another way to perceive. So we are going through a change from being a boss to being a leader. And being a leader is about helping and guiding others thriving on their goals.
If you were to give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would that be?
I will not give any advice to my younger self because he has to go through everything
That he went through.
again.
Hey, welcome to Business Club. Today's guest is Marc Cabedo, a good friend of mine, and he's come to Business Club last week, and then we hit it off. And I thought, based on his knowledge, I thought we'll have a great interview with him to understand his mind. He's a sales coach, and then later on he became a leadership coach. And I've had some great interaction with him in the past. I thought it would be great to kind of have him on the panel, on the podcast, to read his mind and understand where he comes from. So enjoy the show. Have a great one. Look forward to knowing more about him and his journey so far. Good morning, Marc.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Fantastic. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here too. So, welcome to Business Club. In Business Club, what we do is we try to kind of meet with small business owners, professionals, consultants, and try to help them tell their story while we understand more about you and your philosophies in life, your background, your journey. So I'm excited to know more about you. I've had a brief conversation earlier with you and talk about all of your background and your journey, your experience in Latin America. I'm very excited to know more about you. So
I'm excited too. Thank you.
Great. So this is how we start. The format of the podcast is we ask you a few questions about your background, and then as we go through the journey, there will be some questions that are impromptu. It's more of a conversation, so feel free.
Okay.
And towards the end, we have some rapid fire questions. Those rapid fire questions may not be really rapid fire. You can still take your time and explain whatever your real answer is. So feel free.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. So Marc, can you share your journey from technical sales roles to founding your Bonding KB2, and why the name Bonding KB2?
Okay. So first, I'm from Barcelona, Spain.
All right.
I have to say. So I started my career in Spain in sales when I was in my 20s, and I started locally, then national, and then
Global.
one day international.
Nice.
So life is a journey.
Right.
And if you remember, in 2008,
Oh yeah.
it was a big financial crisis.
Yes.
And I was working in a company. I was quite, quote unquote, successful on sales, but the crisis hit, and then everything changed. So the company shut down, and I had to start over. So that's the part of the hero's journey. I don't know if you are familiar with the hero's journey. It's the story of if anybody's life, and there is a point in life that everything changes.
Yes.
And you have to start over from scratch, like the phoenix.
I am going through that journey right now.
Okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the crisis hit, and I had to reinvent myself.
Got it. Okay.
And then I was just having a dream of just moving to another country, and Latin America was there, and the opportunity came out of the blue.
What was that opportunity?
One day I called a friend that it was my competitor, and I was just asking if they have something for
Vacancy.
me.
Okay.
And and he invited me to the office, and he suddenly offered me the opportunity to move to Mexico. And I was so excited. And I say yes, without even asking my wife.
Right.
So, and I say, yes, yes, when can we start?
Right.
And then I started the adventure right there. So I was moving to Mexico. I was hired by this company. It was from Austria. And I moved to Mexico. I was living in Mexico for 1 year. I tried to move my family.
Where in Mexico?
In Mexico City.
Okay. Okay.
And I was living in Mexico City. I tried to move my family to Mexico, but it was not really convenient for my wife and young kids. So I ended up here in Charlotte.
Oh, that early. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the company just gave me the opportunity. Okay, you are not comfortable in Mexico with your family. You can move anywhere you want in America.
Okay. Wow.
And they
And you picked
yeah,
Charlotte.
Yeah, I ended up here in Charlotte without knowing anything about Charlotte, but it was great. It was great. And then that's I moved from in sales from local to national to international, because the idea was to develop markets in Latin America. And I spent 8 years.
And so you're sitting here in Charlotte and managing
From Charlotte, I was managing markets
Latin America,
all over Latin America.
Okay, great.
And then after 8 years doing this job, and also COVID hit, so another
Life-changing moment.
life-changing moment. I was inspired to start my own career in coaching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Walk us through that journey. What inspired you to start coaching? Because COVID hit, of course, and then probably the job. What was the job scene like?
Yeah. So I was working as a sales director in my Latin America job. So I was guiding teams on their journey, I was helping them or guiding them thriving on their goals.
Right.
So that's when I started understanding that I was also a coach, not just a director, not just a boss. I was guiding others. That
was your calling.
Yeah, that's my calling. And when you get this call, nothing can stop you. Because you feel that it's your purpose.
Yeah.
And then you go through this, whatever it takes.
Absolutely. So how you said you worked in different countries, and you're leading Latin American teams, worked for an international company in Australia. So how has different countries and cultures shaped your approach to leaderships and communication, of course, because you speak multiple languages, all of that. So
yeah, the company was from Austria, not Australia.
Yeah, Austria. That's what I'm saying.
And just knowing the differences, the cultural differences. I'm going to tell you just an example. When I was living in Mexico, I was speaking Spanish.
Of course.
But the culture, the way Mexicans behave and the way I was behaving was totally different.
Was it? Okay.
So I was more straightforward. So whatever I want, I just say it.
Like typical European.
Yes. Everybody's different.
Yes.
But coming from Europe is more the straightforward way.
Straightforward, yes or no?
Yeah. And for example, in Mexico, it's just going around.
They don't talk to the point, they talk around.
We want to know more about you, your family, and everything. And then we go to make business.
Right.
But first, we need to know about you.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's different. I don't want to go to the extreme, because in Europe also we want to meet the other person, but I'm just talking generic. So for me I was struggling with this, because it takes some time to get into the culture.
Right.
Same here in the U.S. different maybe in Bolivia or different in Argentina. So I spent 8 years learning about this. It's not only about selling, it's
Yeah.
about adapting to somebody else's culture.
Right.
And that's an amazing journey. And not easy.
Interesting. So you talk a lot about Stoicism, and how has that changed your approach towards the leadership and coaching?
Yeah. So Stoicism is something very important in my life because it's the way that I live. I live.
What is Stoicism?
Well, it's about not. It's about perception. So life is about perception, and perception is not reality.
Right.
The way we perceive the world,
Or the way others perceive us. Okay.
yeah, is the way we live.
Right.
So if we think that things are bad, things are gonna be bad.
Right.
But there is another way to perceive good. And Stoicism is about there is no good or bad.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And you have to accept what it is. You have to accept the reality that you are living. Whatever happens in your life, you have to accept it because it's already happened.
Correct.
From now on, you can change things, but not the past. You have to live in the now. It's about living in the now and accepting whatever is happening in the now. And also the perception. The perception is not the reality. That is a very important point. Perception is not the reality because it's your perception.
Right.
I work very much with the model, with the process communication model. The process communication model is about different ways to perceive life. You can perceive life in many different ways, but that's not reality. You have to adapt to all these kind of perceptions, but with the awareness that it's only a perception.
Correct. Okay. So you adapt to the perception with the awareness that there is perception.
There is perception, only perception.
But the reality is, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's the sentence, the key sentence. It is what it is.
Right.
You cannot change what it is.
Yep. I agree.
And also, Stoicism is about taking the view from above when there is a problem,
Right.
and don't judge. Because if you judge, it's from your perception, but maybe not from somebody else.
Got it. I know you've got some certifications in PMP and bio-neuro-emotion.
Yeah.
Can you just expand that a little bit and see how that has actually helped in your journey? What is PMP?
So, PCM
Oh,
is
PCM, not PMP.
yeah.
Okay.
PCM is process communication model.
Yeah, I apologize.
It's a kind of model that works with personality types.
Oh, okay.
So we all have 6 different personality types within us. And it's about perception, it's about communication channels, it's about what triggers our stress
Right.
and how the stress escalates. And psychological needs. So it's a model that helps you know who you are and how you are wired,
Right.
because we are all wired differently. And if you know how to adapt to somebody else's way of communication channel, whatever, you much better understand why the other one is behaving the way he's behaving or she's behaving. And you understand that your perception is not theirs.
Right. Okay.
And then bio-neuroemotion is more about knowing where your limiting beliefs are. It's more about psychology. where your limiting or unconscious biases,
Yeah.
and just overcoming those beliefs, because those beliefs are limiting you from growing.
How do you do that?
Well, it's
Process.
it's a kind of, it's not a therapy, but it's, I use sometimes hypnosis to go to
The
somebody.
depth of the
Yeah,
emotions.
yeah, where you planted the seed of the limiting belief, and helping you understand that that's just a belief.
Right.
That's a perception that you got in your childhood because of your interaction with your parents.
Yeah.
And that's not true. That's false. That it's just limiting you. Maybe somebody told you that you were not good enough, and you believe that. And
Perception.
Yeah, that's an assumption, and you're still thinking that's true. It's not true. You are good enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You are perfect,
Yep.
because that's the way you are. So you don't need to be anybody else. You just need to be yourself. But with those models, I can guide people to know how they are wired, and to accept the way they are wired
Right.
as perfect.
Got it.
And that's fantastic.
True. So let's talk a little bit about your business model and the services that you offer, particularly your company called Bonding KB2.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about the company and what you offer and things like that?
Yeah.
Why is it called Bonding KB2?
Well, bonding,
Yeah, of
it's
course.
It's
Connecting,
like,
yeah.
it's emotional, an emotional glue.
Yeah.
And KB2, because in my last name is Cabedo,
Okay.
and KB2 in Spanish,
Oh, okay.
it's pronounced like Cabedo.
Cabedo. Okay.
So, well, it's just
That's the mnemonics. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And well, the idea of the company is to provide coaching services to companies, corporations, teams. I work with leadership programs, also high performing teams. I like to work with a lot of people,
Right.
and with this model like PCM, it's good because you can know each other's types and trades and everything, and it works very well with companies. People know who is in front of them, and they know much better how to interact without stress,
Makes sense.
and improving communication.
Got it. So, what's the core mission of Bonding KB2?
Well, it's to guide and help people and teams grow in their professions
Right.
and their lives. I also work with one-on-one coaching. So if I do a workshop and all those things, I like to, so the next step is the one-on-one coaching, in order to, one by one, helping them on their personal
Yeah.
journey and performance.
Got it. And how do you say you're different from the other coaching and consulting people out there?
Well, everybody is different, but I'm different because I'm really passionate. It's the way I'm wired is I thrive guiding other people. And also I'm just using those models to expand who I already am. And I'm really passionate about this. It's this job is my purpose in life.
Got it. So earlier you mentioned about Stoicism, you mentioned about neuroscience, you also mentioned about PCM model, process communication model. How do you combine them together? How do they talk to each other, or how does it together help in your when you coach others?
Yeah. So, for example, Stoicism is a way of life. It's the basics. So it's how I see life, the way I'm living is through Stoicism.
Correct.
Then PCM, the process communication model, is the tool that I'm using in my job to let teams and customers know how to use the method, the how to structure the workshop or whatever. And
Right.
and bio-neuroemotion, it goes more deeply into the how
The
to
mindset.
mindset approach, how to get rid of these limiting beliefs. It's more just
Yeah.
they are all complementary. But Stoicism is just the way I live my life. And I'm very happy that Stoicism came to my life long ago.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about industry trends and insights. What leadership challenges do you think people are facing, and how could they benefit from a stoic approach?
Okay, so the world, I think we can all agree that the world is changing.
Yes, always.
No, but always changing. But now we are in a deep change. I think, and you can see it. I'm not talking about the wars politically, economically. There is something going on that we don't know exactly what it is, but I think there is a big shift happening, and also in leadership. Because leadership is not about telling people what to do. That's the old way. It's the idea of the boss and the leader. So we are going through a change from being a boss to being a leader. And being a leader is about helping and guiding others thriving on their goals. So it's about using not only IQ,
EQ as well.
EQ as well. So emotional intelligence.
Right.
We can define emotion. I define emotional intelligence like 3 different skills. Sense of humor. Sense of humor is key
Yeah.
for emotional intelligence. If there is a problem and you are capable of using your sense of humor, you are saved. Also, caring about others, empathy. That's very important part of emotional intelligence. And creativity. Creativity. And the old way of, let's call it leadership, but it's not really leadership. It's about structure and logic and telling people what to do.
Correct.
And without emotional intelligence, it doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. Maybe it worked in the past, but not anymore. So I see the future not so competitive, more collaborative.
Yeah, I always believe in collaboration and not competition.
So if you compete, you're losing a big part of your energy.
Yeah.
If you collaborate,
Yeah.
you are just growing
Together.
Yeah.
There's a world of abundance and everybody benefits from it.
Yes, correct. That's correct. So that's where I think the world is going. And but it's not easy. And that's part of the trainings that I'm doing, the workshops that I'm doing. I work very much with emotional intelligence. I think that's the future.
Got it. So we had a couple of years of pandemic, and communication seems to have evolved during that time. What's your take on that?
Wow, that's a big change because people started working remotely,
Right.
and then you lose a big part of the thing because you can. So communication, verbal communication is just 10% of total communication. The rest is body language.
Yeah.
So if you work remotely, you lose big part of body language. So you have to start playing with, for example, writing emails with emojis. Because if you just write a text,
it won't reflect.
it won't reflect what you want to say and could cause misunderstandings.
Right.
So you need to use emojis in order to
lighten up things.
Yeah. And also with process communication model, I do some workshops to learn how to work remotely and how to use the proper language.
Right. Okay.
So there is certain vocabulary to help getting in somebody else's communication channel. So, for example, if you are a very logic person, or you are a very if you like to have interactions and fun while speaking, if I write an email, it's not so easy.
Right.
But if I use, for example, onomatopoeias, if you are very interactive, and I use onomatopoeias in my language, I will match your psychological need of having.
What did you say? What that was? Auto.
Onomatopoeias is like saying "wow" or.
Oh, okay.
It's and if you are a very logic person.
Yeah.
If I can use a structured message using data, all the information, and the message is clear for you, well, that's the way I communicate remotely. Because body language, like talking like this or looking at your body posture, is not easy or sometimes not possible.
Right.
Working remotely. So there is a way to learn how to interact remotely and being successful.
Got it. Makes sense. So what's been some of your most challenges that you've faced during your coaching time with post-pandemic?
Well, post-pandemic is so people are struggling and they don't know why. And the big challenge for me is to tell them that the way they are is not good or bad. It's again the same story.
It is a Stoic, yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. The challenge is make them understand that they can thrive the way they are. They don't need to change themselves.
Right.
They only need to know how they are wired and understand.
Right.
The key word here is awareness.
Absolutely.
If I know how you're wired, I will not judge you for the way you are. I will accept you. Same way with me. I need to accept myself first.
Yep.
That's the first thing that I should do. And then if I accept the way you are, and I know how to communicate with you, everything would be fantastic.
Correct.
But the idea of you have to be this way, it's the key point for me. You don't have to be somebody else's. You have to be you.
Right.
And to be you, you need to know who you are.
Yep. And you have to move away from perception.
Yeah.
Accept the way it is. And then,
so that's the main challenge.
Got it. You know, you have had a journey from moving from corporate sales to coaching. If someone today wants to have a similar journey, not necessarily sales, but something similar where they're involved with people and maybe HR, I don't know, what would you advise them?
Well, again, it's the same story. Know who you are. But the advice for me is, again, the hero's journey. It's not easy.
Yeah.
If you want to make a shift in your life, you need to be prepared to start over. And life is uncertain.
Right.
So whatever change you want to do is going to go through struggle, and you have to accept it
Got it. Okay.
as part of the journey. If you keep staying in your comfort zone, nothing's going to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and we humans, we find that getting out of comfort zone is not a good way to go. And that's the way to go. If you want to grow, you have
Are you
to
saying
get out. You have to get out.
get out of the comfort zone. Okay.
And if you don't want to get out, life will kick you out someday.
True. Cool. So, what's one powerful mindset or habit that you think leaders today would need to adapt to kind of have better communications within their teams?
Well, it comes through emotional intelligence, adapting to somebody else's style.
Right.
So leadership is about adapting. It's knowing who you are, but adapting to somebody else's. So that's why PCM is great on this, because when you know PCM, you know everything about you and you know everything about others. You know how to adapt to somebody else's energy when it's needed.
Right.
Not always, just when it's needed. You stay strong the way you are,
Good.
but when it's needed, you adapt. So that's the key for leadership, in my opinion.
So you talk about PCA models often, process communication model. Can you tell us, if I were to learn PCM model, where do I go? What certification I do? Who gives me the certification and all that?
Yeah. So you start maybe doing a workshop or something, and you know a little bit more about you, and then you can go through a certification to become a trainer, and after that a coach if you want. Well, that's one of the journeys. But you can just get your personality profile, know exactly how you're wired, your personality base, your condominium of personality. We call it condominium, and there are 6 different personality types that are within you.
Right.
You will know all of them, and you will know exactly the energy that you have in all of these 6 types. And the ones that you are full of energy,
Right.
that's part of your persona.
Personality. Yeah.
But there are some of them that you are lacking energy, and those are your, what I call your shadow. But your shadow is your potential. It's not your problem. I'm going to give you an example. For example, if you are very good logically, you're a very structured person,
Right.
but you lack, for example, empathy or sense of humor. That's going to be
Limiting factor.
a limiting factor, and it's going to be on top of your personality condominium. And whenever you see a person with sense of humor or empathy, you will not like them. And you will say, sometimes you will say, I don't like this guy. I don't like, because he or she.
They don't match up to your level.
Yes, but it's not about them.
It's about you.
It's about you. This energy, you think you lack of, but it's not true. The more you avoid them, the more you will not grow on those energies.
Right.
But if you get surrounded by those people, by accepting that they are having this energy and you can learn from them, then you start growing, and you start matching those energy, and that's the way you grow. So just by knowing this, by knowing why in my company I don't like certain people, or I don't like certain customers,
Right.
that's not because of them.
Correct.
It's because of me. And when you start having this awareness, everything changes.
Makes sense.
Because you accept and you stop judging. That's the basics of Stoicism. So everything is connected.
So cool. So what's been some of the most valuable lessons that you've had in your career as a coach?
My career as a coach is that everybody is different, and you have to adapt to somebody else's psychological needs.
Right.
So if you want to do your job the way you are not going the right way. You have to adapt. You have to ask questions before starting any workshop, any training, anything. I have to know the other one,
Right.
my customer, my client, and to adapt to their needs. So coaching is about guiding others. It's not about you.
Right.
It's about guiding others, thriving on their goals, on their...
Makes sense. So how do you help teams stay motivated during tough times?
Staying more?
Motivated.
So, well, one of the keys of PCM is that with PCM, I know somebody else's psychological needs. When I know your psychological needs, I know how to motivate you.
How to adapt to my requirements.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there is always something that motivates somebody. If you are motivated by having a lot of interactions, being very social,
Yeah.
and I put you in a position isolated,
Right.
you're going to be miserable. But if I know what your psychological needs are,
Right.
I know where to put you. Or at least I know how to help you.
Makes sense.
So that's the basics of motivation, to know what the needs are.
And what kind of role does emotional intelligence play in leadership?
Well, that's key. That's key. Nowadays, it's key because when you're the company is, for example, struggling on sales, so they are not achieving their goals. Everybody gets stressed out.
Makes sense. Okay.
But if you use your emotional intelligence, and you and you know the psychological needs of each member of your team,
Right.
you can much better interact with them, and in this time of struggle, the stress levels are going down. Because if I'm just stressed out, when I'm having, in PCM we have different levels of distress, so negative stress. When I'm in distress, I cannot do anything to help anybody else.
Right.
So I need to get out of my stress to be aware, and then I can
It's like
communicate.
oxygen when you're flying. First, take care of it.
So when the leader is under distress, there is nothing to do. Just awareness.
Right.
And with awareness, I can much better deal with others. Without awareness,
You cannot. Yeah.
you cannot.
Got it. So, how do you handle failure, and what advice would you give others to how to handle failures?
So failure is not good or bad.
Yeah, it is a fact. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But failure is needed.
Yeah.
Because without failure,
There's
we
no
cannot grow, we cannot learn.
Measure success. Yeah.
Yeah, we learn by mistakes. And from that mistake, we grow. After chaos, after a crisis, there are only opportunities.
Yeah.
But you have to see those opportunities by going through failure.
Right.
And that's part of the hero's journey too.
Yep. Cool. So, what are some of the common misconceptions about leadership, according to you?
Well, it's the same thing. So leadership is not about being a director and telling others what to do. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. Leadership is not about me. It's about them. That's key.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, your younger self, if you were to give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would that be?
I don't know. My younger self, I will not give any advice to my younger self because he has to go through everything
That he went through.
again.
So, let me put it this way: if you were to live the same life or similar life, would you want to go through what you've gone through?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is no advice. You have to go through everything in your life to be who you are.
Right.
Without all the things that happened to me in the past, I would not be the guy that I'm today.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. How would you balance structure and flexibility in leadership?
Both are needed. So it's a combination of both. It's about IQ and EQ. So we need structure, but when it's needed, we need to adapt to and be flexible. Everything is about when it's needed. We can be flexible, but when it's needed, we need structure.
Got it.
So it's about flexibility and adaptation. Everything is okay. There is no good or bad.
Yeah, it is what it is.
We don't need only structure. We don't need only flexibility. It's a combination.
What's next for you, Mark? And what's next for your company?
Well, what's next for me? It's to grow the business, to work with as many customers as possible, to help them grow their businesses
Right.
also, and follow my passion.
Awesome.
When you are in your purpose in life, there is no limit.
Absolutely. So, where do you see yourself from 3 years from now and 5 years from now?
Well, maybe working more international. I'm starting working also with clients from other countries,
Excellent. Okay.
and just maybe growing in the team and collaboration, maybe
Right.
with other coaches. Well, that's what I see in the future.
Awesome. And, one question that I always ask people is, you see small businesses all around. Small businesses are the backbone of, of America, of most countries. So, in your opinion, for the coaching style that you are doing, do you think small businesses are your target market as well?
They are, but I'm not sure if they
Have the
are
budget.
willing to invest on this because they are more focused on the business.
Right.
But the thing is that when somebody is struggling with something, they ask for help. I'm not helping anybody that is not asking for help. So I cannot convince anybody to go through this journey of
Right.
coaching without them needing it.
Right.
So I have to be invited.
Okay, of course. So let me ask you this way. If you were to address your audience and say, hey, these are my target customers, these are my target corporations, how would you define your ideal target customer?
Well, the ideal target customer is the C-level executive. Because from top,
Everything flows down here.
yeah, everything
It's
flows
top-down
down.
approach,
It's easier to go to the bottom.
Got it.
So if you go to the middle or the bottom, well, it's not so easy. So if you start in a company, in a corporation with a C-level executive, well, that's the way to go.
Got it. Makes sense. All right. So we are almost towards the end of our podcast. I have a few rapid fire questions I would love to ask you, and there's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
It is what it is. And feel free to elaborate or be as simple and short as possible. So there's no structure to it. So coffee or tea?
Coffee, for sure.
Coffee. Without a doubt. Okay. Favorite book on Stoicism?
Favorite books? Meditations from Marcus Aurelius is one of the favorite books.
Meditations.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Who's your most influential mentor?
I think it's life.
Very good answer.
I think it's life. Life is teaching me everything.
Your life is your mentor.
Yes, and sometimes there are people coming to my life, and they can be mentors.
Right.
But it's basically life.
Nice, very nice. One word to describe your coaching style?
Well, could be inspirational, transformational too.
Mm-hmm. Why do you say so?
Because it's about changing and transforming, and well, it's a kind of alchemy.
Right.
It's about being, evolving, being different.
Makes sense. So early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Early bird. What time do you wake up?
Depends on the day, but I wake up early. I don't know why.
No, it's a good habit. So what time do you sleep though?
I sleep, if I can sleep 8 hours, I sleep 8 hours and I go to sleep early. But sometimes I sleep 4 or 6 and that's okay too.
Okay. What's your stress reliever?
Nature, walking, it's a kind of meditation too, being in the nature, basically.
Nice. And who's your most inspiring business leader today?
Business leader, I don't know. It's about,
Or maybe the characteristics of a proper business leader that you think will inspire you.
well, I don't have any leader in my life. It's about the same answer. It's life.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a person, and sometimes it's a circumstance.
You're right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mountain or beach?
Combination of both.
Why?
Because I love the beach because being born in Barcelona, next to the beach, I've been there always. You can relax in the mountains, you can enjoy and have fun in the beach, so it's a combination.
Nice. And a tool or app that you would, you cannot work without?
The what?
A tool or an app that you cannot work without?
It's not an app because I don't want to be attached to apps. But journaling,
that's a tool. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's a tool. It's kind of an essential thing in my life.
Got it. And best business advice that you ever received?
Best business advice: be you. Be you.
Nice. So this is going to be a little bit of controversial questions. Spanish or American work culture? Which one do you prefer?
Well, it's a very easy answer because it's both. So being from Spain and having been living in America for many years, I can take the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. So I can enjoy, for example, in Spain people are maybe more social.
Yeah.
And
more of a relationship.
And here in America, in North America, it's more based on work and performance.
Execution.
I can take both worlds at the same time and use it when it's convenient.
Awesome. Favorite city you've worked in?
Definitely Mexico City. I was living in Mexico City for 1 year, and I don't know if it was the best year in my life, but it has everything.
When you say everything, what do you really mean?
Well, it's a wild city. It's a wild
Wild
city.
city,
You can find everything you want there. You can enjoy. You can go to the pyramids. You can be with millions of people all together in a city. And also, it's Mexico. It's for me, being from Europe, it's totally different. So I like diversity and also the culture.
Nice.
It's a very rich culture.
So, according to you, what's harder to master, communication or strategy?
Communication is always first. Without communication, there is no strategy.
True.
So, first, communication.
Nice. Public speaking, love it or hate it?
I love public speaking because that's the way I grow. That's
Yep.
the way interaction with others. That's the way to grow. So I love public speaking and interaction.
Very nice. A little bit about yourself, hidden talent that you can talk about.
Hidden talent. Okay, let me say, well, reading somebody else's mind, but that's not really accurate. But I can very easily read body language, and well, that's a hidden talent.
That's awesome. And somewhere I heard, these people, magicians, mentalists, they call it. They read other people's mind very easily.
Well, it's not about reading your mind because that's like sounds like magic.
Yeah.
It's about maybe reading your body language.
Body language, okay. The
And,
positivity.
yeah,
And all
what
that
is
stuff.
behind maybe your words.
Yeah.
And that's the way of reading your mind.
That's very important aspect of coaching.
Yes.
Very, very nice. Okay. Favorite quote?
Life only starts when you know who you are.
Who said that?
I don't remember, but I love it.
Important. Yeah. No, that's cool. Sales or coaching? What do you love most?
Well, they both come together, but it's coaching because it's my purpose.
Right.
Sales is included, but it's basically coaching.
Got it. Got it. A leader you would love to have lunch with?
I don't know. Gandhi.
Gandhi. Okay, cool. So I think you also mentioned at some point about Marcus Aurelius, your
Yes.
the guy who
yes,
did meditations.
Yes. Yeah. Gandhi is more.
Yeah.
But yes, Marcus Aurelius or whoever was in this era of
Okay.
Stoicism and
Got it. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I ask this question to everyone, but since you came to Business Club once, I think last week or the week before. What was your experience, and what do you think you liked about Business Club, and what you did not like? And feel free to be open about it. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. So what I love from the day that I came here, and I was with a lot of people. I think they were at least 20 people or more.
Yeah, 25 people.
What I love is that they are basically all entrepreneurs, and they are starting their own business, and it's great to have the opportunity to talk about what you're doing and to know about others. And again, that's the way we can grow. That's the way we can expand our businesses, by knowing what the others are doing also. And this is a kind of collaboration. We can start teaming up with others, and that's a great opportunity. So what you are doing, creating this club, it's amazing. It's amazing because we don't know where to go to meet those people like us.
And have a very intelligent conversation.
Yeah. And you learn from others. You see opportunities. With somebody explains about their experiences, you can just see the opportunity there.
Right.
To try what they have tried in the past, and that's wonderful.
Great.
So thanks for creating this club.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming and blessing us. So, Mark, wonderful talking to you. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure
Thank you.
to have you here, and we
Same.
look forward to having many more conversations.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. What a great conversation I had with Marc Cabedo. His company is Bonding KB2, and in this episode we talked about Stoicism, positivity, and how Stoicism actually helps in leadership style. We're trying to know who the person you are, and things like that. He goes into in-depth analysis of how Stoicism has actually helped him develop his career. Um, you've watched this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give your comments below, and I look forward to knowing more from you about this show. And hopefully, we can bring Mark again to the show and then have him go deeper into Stoicism and other concepts that he's got. So, thank you for watching.